If we think about all the different factors going on in a farmer's life, a lot of it is uncontrollable. Weather, politics, the value of the dollar, energy prices, and all of these things influence today's marketplace. What is in a farmer's control is whether or not they take advantage of risk management tools. Jacob Burks joins us. He's a partner with agmarket.net. Jacob is based in Lancaster, but he works with producers nationwide. He says most producers are using some sort of risk management service, whether it's through their local elevator or with an organization like his. He tells us about some of the phone calls he's getting from customers today and the tools that are out there to protect them.
Right. We always joke that you're going to get the calls when you start seeing Bloomberg and CNN and all the news stations talk about the agriculture industry. And right now the headlines are the bird flu that's spreading across the country and how that's getting into dairy herds and how it's getting it's moving beyond just the migratory bird. And so I think that is hitting the news lines obviously goes to our producers like, hey, how does that affect demand? And our feed demand is pretty strong. It's something that doesn't change a whole lot. And the question right now is, I don't know. It's just like coming through the weekend. How are the tariffs gonna affect the market? That's on the news. It's the headlines. It's the big questions. And the big problem is, I don't know. When there's that much uncertainty in the marketplace, that's when you need to be using some of those risk management tools.
If the cattle numbers aren't there, where does my grain go? But should maybe I bring cattle onto the operation if the cattle market is looking good?
Sometimes risk management might be diversification. That's a tool that you could have in your tool belt to manage your risk on your farm. Sometimes, a lot of guys this fall luckily had some cattle in store just to walk some of that corn off the farm. They had a very low depressed price at harvest and was able to walk that off. So yeah, we have a lot. And then cattle all of a sudden went up here. So the cattle guys got a ton of risk on hand right now. And I think when you look at the operation and you look at who needs it the most right now, it's not because I think the prices are going to fall. It's just because we have such a high value of cattle prices. I think it's very important to be looking at some tools and getting some sold.
Continuing on the grain conversation, I want to talk about our competitors in South America. Right now, they're going gangbusters, getting their crop off the ground. And while they are, countries, continents away, that's something that here domestically growers need to pay attention to.
Yeah, right now you got to look at, we have the cheapest corn available. Okay, so we are the export market domestically for corn now. But as they're rapidly going through harvest in Brazil, in the northern part of Brazil, they've had a rainy season. It's delayed their harvest a little bit. And after they harvest that first crop, then they come right back with the safrinha corn crop. And so you'll see the pictures. You've seen them all over the internet where the combine's rolling through harvesting soybeans and the corn planters right behind, and that's happening right now. So that availability of corn will be coming to the market pretty quick. At the end of March, we'll start seeing some of that competition for our corn. So, we looked at the production that they have increased and the arable land that they have the opportunity to put in production is outstanding. We're losing acres, they're gaining acres down south. And I think the investment that China's put in and other BRICS countries have put into Brazil to provide food for the world has been significant, to the point where we have to focus and pay attention to what's going on down there so we can look at next year's crop to say, hey, what's the availability? What's the opportunities? If we see them having a decent crop, we have to be a little bit more aggressive with what we do from a selling side.
Can you speak to the importance of our associations like the Wisconsin Soybean Association, like the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association, their role in creating demand to eat up that supply? Because like you said, if we're competing because they just have so much, we got to eat that up here at home.
Exactly. And if you'd look at this, 5 years ago and say, hey, our export system might not even include beans in the future, I would probably say no way. But if you look at it 10 years down the road, there's not a guarantee that we're going to be exporting many beans. As a matter of fact, there's talk about we could be importing soybeans for our crush plants, even as quick as this year. It was just because how cheap their soybeans could get. So when you look at these organizations and what they do to go out there to help drive, I think the biggest thing is renewable energy. And I can't talk on renewable energy like I'm an expert. All I know is it's really, really important that we continue to build that part of our industry, because we have to find new and better and more efficient ways to use the soybeans here domestically, because or we won't be planting a whole lot of them. And I think that's focus is mainly on the bean side. But then you switch over and look at the corn, the ethanol that we're grinding. That's been a mainstay. Ethanol makes sense. Now, how can we expand on that? How can we continue to expand into the SAF, and what does that actually look like? And I wish them the best. I root for them because I think it's very important for our producers that they continue to build and find better ways to use it domestically here.
Jacob, my last question for you when it comes to planning for the growing season, for your marketing season, reports from USDA that are supposed to help us make estimates, make predictions. How reliable are those planting estimates and acreage reports or even the supply and demand reports? How accurate are those at this point in the year? And are there any in particular that we should be watching that could definitely shake up the marketplace?
It typically becomes pretty accurate into the March report. So what we call the March report is the planting intentions report. That's going to tell you, hey, domestically, what are we going to plant? What did the farmer say he's planning on planting, putting in the ground? Then when you go through the planting season, we all know what, we watch the weather every day. How much do we think when we make guesstimates most of the time. And then when it gets to June 30th, we have that final plant number. So those are 2 dates that when I'm putting together a marketing plan for producers, I'm looking at those 2 dates to say, hey, I want to be protected, at that level beyond the March report. And then let's do something beyond that the June 30th final planting number. I think those are really, really important, especially when you're looking into 2025. And the cool thing about what the CME or the CBOT has done over the last we've been using them probably for 10 years now, are these short-dated new crop options. So there's option strategies. There's tools out there that have a shorter-term date other than just the new crop contract like December or November soybeans.
That's probably a good thing because markets change so fast. So
to that point, the market changed so fast. The CME understands that too. They actually have weekly options on that. So you have opportunities throughout a year that you can say, hey, I'm positioned this way. I have a lot of corn left, and I'm scared to death of that report. You can actually come in there on a very short term and buy options. Now, we don't recommend that to everybody. We're not trying to tell everybody, hey, go buy put every week or anything like that. But there's tools when the part about it, like we started talking earlier, is the comfortability. Like, what does risk management give you? Sometimes having that protection lets you go through the weekend or lets you provide you some comfort to realize, like, I don't care if the market crashes. I'm going to go on vacation or I'm going to do something where I don't want to pay attention to the markets, and I want to have that protection.
Peace of mind to prevent any reaction that's driven by fear.
Absolutely. That, fear drives the market. That's what we call volatility, right? And so when there's a lot of fear in the market, the markets move a lot. And so I think that to decrease that fear, there's things out there that you can do. Risk, crop insurance is one. Working with your local elevator is one. Working with the commodity broker that can help you, understand these tools and learn these tools is very important.
Jacob Burks joining us from agmarket.net out of Lancaster. I'm Stephanie Hoff, and we'll catch you back here same time tomorrow on the Midwest Farm Report.